I'm genuinely shocked. Yeah, me too. Why? You never start those. True, that's more Oikawa's thing. In that case, we should be glad he's not here. His challenges are terrible. Not just challenges. Hey, what? He's right. Did you meet Oikawa before? Yeah, of course. We played against each other in high school after all. But we haven't met in the challenges yet, that's true. Lucky you. So, we are doing a challenge again? Seems like it, I guess. Yes, I have one for you. Is it just me or does he sound mad? How can you even tell through the text? No, he's right. I'm getting the same feeling. Everything okay, Kindaichi? Yeah, why shouldn't it be? Anyway, before everyone runs away from the topic again, the challenge is to ask your partner, what would you do if I died, and watch their reaction. I take it back, he's definitely mad. Did you argue with your partner or something? That's one harsh question. No? Why would we argue? We didn't argue. How can you be such an obvious liar even through text? Kindaichi? Are you sure you want to deal with relationship disputes through challenges? From personal experience, it doesn't usually end well. I told you we didn't argue. But you didn't sound convincing at all. Fine, but we really didn't argue, okay? There's just a situation that happened. And I think this challenge is as good as any. I don't have a good feeling about this. Sorry I'm late, but I don't think I'll be able to participate in anything. Just got out of hospital yesterday. It's not a physical challenge. Oh, what is it then? Ask our partners what would they do if we died. Oh, that's harsh. I don't want to scare Mori again. Agreed. If I'm doing this, I'm telling Sugu straight away it's a challenge. But then it will lose meaning. I don't care. I'm not going to make Sugu think I'm trying to manipulate him with this. Why would he think it's manipulation? I said it last time. I'm not telling you. If he wants to tell you, he will. But I agree with Haiba. I'll scare Haya if I do this. I'm not even out of the hospital yet. And I'm kinda worried about Kenji's answer, to be honest. Why? I don't think he's someone who wouldn't care. No backing out from this one. Sheesh, he's even worse than Oikawa when he's mad. It's the influence. I'm getting a bit worried now. No backing out. Okay, fine. But I'm still telling Sugu it's a challenge. You can't stop me in that. If Shige ends up crying because of this, I'll personally strangle you. Agreed. Fine. Go about the challenge as you think is best and will leave the least casualties. Fingers crossed it doesn't go wrong. Hopefully. Unable to decide if he wanted to know the answer or not, Sammy spent most of the evening strumming his guitar, trying to find different thoughts than the ones swirling in his head. He tried to work on some of the songs for their new album, but sooner rather than later, he realized he wasn't going to be successful that day. And so he just closed his eyes and let his fingers run over the strings, sometimes humming along when the melody sounded good. His worry didn't stem from any particular issue. There wasn't any bad air between them, except for Shirabu trying really hard to not snap at him again when he came home tired. Nor did he think Shirabu wouldn't care if he actually died. He just wasn't sure if he wanted to hear the answer. He startled when his fingers slipped on the strings, creating an ear-tearing tone. Sighing, he readjusted the guitar in his hands, letting his fingers rest. And yet I'm still doing this, huh? He perked up a bit when he heard the main door closing. A mere seconds after that, the light tapping of Cat's paws passed by his door, making him smile. Sounds like a good day today. He set the guitar aside and got up, following their cats to the hallway. His smile grew softer when he spotted Shirabu bend down to give their cats the usual dosage of pets. You know, it almost looks like you are more excited to see the cats than me. Shirabu glanced up, a tired smile curling his lips. Not really. You're on the same level. Are we? That calms me down. I mean, I wouldn't blame you. They are adorable. He hummed contentedly when Shirabu walked over to him and kissed him. It was a gesture he didn't know he needed, but of which he couldn't get enough since Shirabu started with it after the last challenge. But you are special. Semi couldn't keep the smile off his face, especially when Shirabu's cheeks colored bright pink. He brought their lips together again, just to get even slightly closer. Oh, how he missed this. So, I take it that you are glad to see me after a long day? Of course. I'm always happy to come home to you. He averted his gaze, even when it doesn't look like it sometimes. But I really do. I know. But convincing my mind is difficult sometimes. A short, heavy silence settled between them, ending when Shirabu cleared his throat. Well, have you eaten already? I'm starving. As if to support his words, Shirabu's stomach grumbled loudly. Semi chuckled. Not yet. I was waiting for you, but then I started playing and I got a bit carried away. A shadow of something he could only describe as guilt flashed over Shirabu's face with his words. Oh, I'm sorry, I completely forgot to call you, I'll be late. I was helping Shibata sorting cards and it got a bit long. Semi forced a smile, his skin crawling upon hearing the name again. Why did it always have to be that guy of all people? It's fine. We can eat something now. He trailed behind Shirabu as they moved to the kitchen, trying to get his thoughts and the flame of jealousy burning in his chest under control. Of course Shirabu and Shibata were about to meet sometimes. They worked in the same hospital for goodness sake. But he couldn't help it. As stupid as it was, ever since they met after the concert, he was certain there was much more under the surface than the guy let on. Could you pass me the tray? He snapped out of his thoughts. Yeah, sure. Right, the challenge too. Now could be a good time. Kenji? Can I ask you something? Sure, what is it? What would you do if I died? The sound of shattering porcelain echoed through the flat. Sammy winced and jumped back as the pieces of what used to be one of their bowls slid towards his feet. Are you okay? Shirabu didn't answer straight away, staring at the shards on the floor, his hands visibly trembling. Kenji, I'm fine. No, I'm not. What? Why would you ask something like that? He turned to face Semi, his eyes blown wide and panicked. What's going on, Eita? Did I miss something? If you are trying to tell me something... Wait, no. He stepped over the shards and grabbed Shirabu's biceps. I'm just asking. I'm not sick or anything. Shirabu didn't look convinced and continued to scan his face as if looking for any sign of illness or injury. Semi sighed and took his face in his palms, already feeling guilty about the whole challenge. I swear I'm not dying. Then why would you ask that? Did I say something? I'm sorry if I did. I didn't. No, please listen. It was just a thought, nothing more. I would tell you if something was wrong. Clenching his jaw, Shirabu punched him lightly in the shoulder. You wouldn't. We both know that. You would keep it a secret from me until it would be too late to spare my feelings. He buried his face into the crook of Semi's neck, a soft sniffle reaching Semi's ears. Because you are dumb like that. Never telling me a thing and leaving me worried. And yet I still love you. Guess that makes me dumb too, huh? A soft smile turned Semi's lips upwards. I guess. We can be dumb together. Shirabu sniffed again and pushed away, rubbing his eyes, which were to Semi's surprise glossed over. I would do everything in my power to save you if you... No matter what it would take, I would save you. But what if you couldn't do anything? if you weren't around at that moment, or there was nothing you could do. He felt bad for pushing the subject, but since he already scared Shirabu, he could finish it and be done with it. Then I would stop being a doctor. Because if I couldn't save you, then everything else would be pointless. Kenji. The sorrow that appeared in Shirabu's eyes broke his heart. I would fail as a doctor if you would be gone. Unable to hold back any longer, Same pulled Shirabu to his chest, engulfing him in a tight embrace. After a beat of hesitation, Shirabu wrapped his arms around him too, before completely sagging into his arms. He ran his fingers through the soft caramel hair, subconsciously starting to hum Shirabu's favorite melody as he gently rocked him from side to side. I'm not going to leave you here alone. I promise. In response, Shirabu dug his fingers into Semi's t-shirt, clenching the fabric in his fists. You better not. While Asahi didn't share most of the concerns of the other challenge participants, he would be lying if he said he wasn't slightly nervous to ask Noya the question. Not because he was afraid to hear the answer, but because he didn't want Noya to worry. After their almost catastrophic proposal, he promised himself to stop overthinking things in their relationship related, to avoid scaring Noya again. And he managed to keep his promise. It would be a shame if he messed up now. But on the other hand, he was also too curious to let the challenge be. Hopefully nothing bad happens. Shrugging, he returned to the drawing board in front of him to continue on the designs and patterns for their upcoming big day. A soft smile made its way to his face when he glanced over at the suit designs for Noya he finished the previous day. He was really proud of his creation and couldn't wait for Noya to return home later today to evaluate them. Of course, there was no rush. Everything had its time, and something like wedding was in need of careful preparation. Though Asahi half expected Noya to suggest a beach wedding somewhere outside Japan. Not that he would complain. That, or something crazy like paragliding. Smiling, he indulged fully into the designs again, completely losing track of time until the loud bang of the office door made him jump. Asahi! Asahi almost fell off the chair as Noya threw himself around his neck. But he quickly regained balance and returned the embrace, feeling everything inside of him warming up. Welcome home. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you coming in. I take it as a personal offense. Maybe I should shut the door louder next time. Oh, please don't. The neighbors are going to go crazy again. Noya smirked and positioned himself to sit comfortably on Asahi's lap. Good, they are annoying anyway. Rolling his eyes, Asahi pulled him a bit closer for a kiss, if only to prevent Noya from bad-mouthing their neighbors again. Judging by the way Noya grinned into the kiss, and before he leaned for the next one, it was exactly what he was aiming for. Seriously though, I hope you aren't overworking yourself again. You know how it ended last time. I don't want to find you almost collapsed again because you forgot to eat and sleep. Asahi gave him a tender smile, gently bumping their foreheads together. Don't worry, I don't want that either. I just got a bit too into the wedding designs, that's all. His heart fluttered when, upon hearing his words, Noya's eyes actually sparkled. Once again, he realized how lucky he got all the way back in high school, and that he kept getting lucky with every day he could share his life with someone like Noya. Do you have something done already? I wanna see! Maybe a good time to start with the challenge now, so that he will have something to get his mind off it later. I do. I was actually waiting for your input. But, maybe you could answer me a question before that? Noya tilted his head, reminding Asahi of a curious puppy. Out with it. Okay, don't overthink things, alright? I'm just asking. But what would you do if I died? The temperature in the room suddenly dropped a few degrees. Noya's face fell immediately as the words left his mouth, his grip on Asahi's t-shirt tightening. Asahi cringed inwardly and took Noya's hands in his, already berating himself for bringing it up. No amount of curiosity was enough to wait this out. You aren't trying to tell me something, right? No, I'm just asking, really. I Someone was talking about it in a group chat and I got curious. That's all. That's not a very nice question. Asahi sighed and pulled Noya under his chin, instinctively starting to wrap soothing circles into his lower back. I know. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked. No, it's fine. It just caught me off guard, I guess. He pulled back a bit before taking Asahi's face in his palms. I don't want to imagine that you wouldn't be here anymore. It's because I know you are waiting for me here that I'm not afraid to travel so much. Because I know I'll be coming back to you. If you weren't here, then I would have no reason to come back home. But you have friends here. You could come back to them. Noya shook his head and then leaned back on Asahi's chest, snuggling as close as possible, as if he couldn't stand even the tiniest of spaces being left between them. Asahi understood and wrapped his arms around him, closing his eyes to relish the feeling of having his beloved in his arms, even though it was his question what drove Noya into them. That's not the same. Don't take me wrong, I love my friends, but it's nowhere near as much as I love you. If I lost you, I would lose my light. So, I guess I'll just hit the road one last time and mourn. Like a sorrowful pilgrimage, you know? Just without an end. For a while, Asahi was rendered speechless. Then, he tightened his embrace, biting his lip to battle the sudden increase of pressure behind his eyes. He resumed rubbing Noya's back, now for his comfort too, and nuzzled into Noya's hair. Please don't do that. But I don't want to be the reason you would stop enjoying what you love. So if something really happened to me, I don't want you to eat your heart out because of it. He brushed a stray strand of hair from Noya's forehead, smiling softly. I would wish for you to live your life to the fullest, even if I'm not around. Can you promise me that? Not a single word sounded between them until Noya buried his face into Asahi's shoulder, the tiny nod he gave in response easing the pressure on Asahi's heart. All right, I promise. I would take the ring with me so you would be with me all the time. And I would be watching over you. Always. Watching Oikawa attempting to put together a set of cabinets that he insisted were definitely not that difficult to build had been Iwaizumi's source of entertainment for the last half an hour. Not that he didn't offer his help, but Oikawa, being his stubborn self, refused to let him do anything. If it was because of his injured pride or from the still present worry about his back was beyond him, but who was he to argue? Still, he stayed around in case Oikawa needed help after all, refusing to let his fiancée get hurt, which was slightly ironic given what he was going to ask him. I should probably take the screwdriver from his hand before I ask him, for both of our sakes. Hajime, can you hold this? Iwaizumi raised his eyebrow, but still headed over to Oikawa and held one of the desks that were supposed to become a shelf. Didn't you say you can do it on your own? A little pout appeared on Oikawa's lips. I can. I just need a bit of help with this. We could just work on this together, you know? This is our house, so the furniture is too. Well, yeah, but that's not the point. And what is? It's the principle, okay? Iwaizumi snorted. Sometimes, Oikawa's logic was the most entertaining thing in the world, but he would never change. It was one of the many charms Oikawa had that made Iwaizumi fall for him in the first place. Alright, in principle. Just fasten it properly, okay? I don't want everything to fall on my head the second I put something in this. Oikawa clicked his tongue before sticking it out in focus as he worked on the screws. The whole deal took merely a minute, much less than when he worked on it alone, but Iwaizumi liked his piece too much to bring it up out loud. He returned back to his previous spot and, despite Oikawa's whining, started to put together another cabinet while he thought over the challenge. Probably better to do it as soon as possible so I get it off my back. Toru, can I ask you something? He heard a dull thud, followed by a colorful curse. Does it have to be now? I'm trying to focus on this damn thing. Well, it's kinda important. But I think you should maybe put down the screwdriver before that. There was a short pause, after which Oikawa let out curious and slightly confused hum. Okay. Is it something bad? Not necessarily. He cleared his throat, suddenly unsure if he was doing the right thing. He quickly banished that thought and continued to work on the cabinet doors as if nothing was happening. I was thinking, what would you do if I died? The silence that settled after his words was deafening. Worried, he turned around, finding Oikawa staring at him with wide eyes and parted lips, his skin a shade paler than he remembered. Toru? Why would you ask something like that? Hearing his strangled tone, Iwaizumi switched into full alert. He got up, wincing when his back moved weirdly, and rushed to kneel down next to Oikawa again, laying his hands on his shoulders. It's okay. You don't have to answer. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. Damn right you shouldn't have. What kind of question is that? What were you thinking about that you... He stopped abruptly, taking a hitched breath. Is it because of your fall? Did something happen again? Or did I do something? You have to tell me. No, it's not. Nothing happened, I swear. Then why? What brought it up? Iwaizumi cursed inwardly upon seeing Oikawa's eyes glossing over. He pulled Oikawa to him, hugging him tightly. I heard some people talking about it, and it just got me thinking. We've come very close to that before, so I guess I was curious. But you don't have to answer, really. I'm so sorry. It didn't even occur to me how much it would hurt you. Oikawa took a shattered breath and shifted slightly into a better kneeling position before returning the hug properly. The room fell silent again, except for the soft rustling of fabric as Iwaizumi caressed Oikawa's arms and the quiet sniffing next to his ear. Iwaizumi really wanted to kick himself into the deepest hell for bringing up old insecurities he knew very well Oikawa still had. He should have known his fiancée would take it the wrong way. I don't know what I would do. Huh? If you died back then, or in the future. I don't know what I would do. You've been such a big part of my life for so long, I can't imagine not having you around. I mean, sure, we've been living apart for some time, but we could still talk and see each other. But just imagining that you are gone forever, it's scary. He looked up, his eyes pooling with tears. I don't think I would be able to move on if I lost you. Iwaizumi paused. Even if you found someone else to love later on? Oikawa seemed to think about it for a while, before he shook his head and snuggled deeper into Iwaizumi's arms, as if trying to hide. I don't think that would happen. You've been my friend since we were tiny. Then you became my boyfriend, and now you are my fiancé. We spent our whole lives together, and I doubt anyone else could replace that. I'd just be comparing everyone to you, and that wouldn't be fair. To you or to them. Because no one in the world can be like you. Or better than you. Not for me. Iwaizumi opened his mouth, but his voice got stuck in his throat. So instead, he crashed Oikawa in a bear hug and squeezed his eyes shut, trying to ignore the stinging behind his eyelids and the way his lungs burned. Come on, we can't both get emotional. Letting out a wet chuckle, Iwaizumi wiped his eyes but didn't let go of Oikawa, same as Oikawa continued to cling to him. At that point, all he wanted, and needed, to do was to hold his beloved close. Nothing else mattered. Then don't say things like this, dummy. Hey, don't insult me. I'm distressed, and it's your fault. I know. So, I guess the cabinets can wait? In response, Oikawa just tightened his grip. Yeah, they can.